Hey, what's up everybody? NGS back again for another video. Today marks the first video recorded in the month of December, so you know what that means? The end of No Shave November. So of course, had to get the huge shape up here, shape up down there, got a nice fade going all around. I guess, I want to try something new, so I got a fade. Anyways, for those actually caring about the topic of the video, or maybe we should just keep talking about hair for the next 15 minutes, I don't know. I felt like talking to you guys about a couple of superhero-related pieces of information since, I don't know what it is about this Monday, December 3rd, but everybody and their dog decided to come out from the woodwork and release information regarding upcoming movies. It's like, god dang, we know that it's going to be a crappy-ass Monday, but hey, let's try to make their lives a little bit better. Just a little bit for those who are interested. And yeah, we got a lot of stuff ranging from Marvel to DC, and hey, if we got enough time, we might dabble in the video game department. So first on the agenda, we might as well talk about something, well, it's not really related to Marvel and DC, but might as well get it out of the way. The first teaser poster for Star Trek Into Darkness, and I still think that title sounds retarded. For those who are unaware, this is the sequel to 2009's Star Trek reboot, if you want to say, essentially J.J. Abrams' vision on the franchise, and you guys already know what I think about the movie. I think it was a pretty dang good movie outside of the various sci-fi cliches and BS. Shoehorning in Leonard Nimoy's Spock into the mix just didn't make sense. I mean, you established he was there, and then he apparently wanted to make sure that the Romulans, they could put their trust in him, so he himself hand escorted the mission. You get what I'm saying. I thought that was kind of a bit too contrived, and it was just forced in there. It's like, why would they send an ambassador to do a job of this magnitude, going out to a black hole? But outside of that and the character of Nero being complete and utter ass, I mean, it was overall pretty dang good flick. I really enjoyed it, so I had high hopes for the sequel. It's been pretty, under wraps for the past couple of years. They haven't really said much. Nothing really has leaked. There have been castings. Of course, Benedict Cumberbatch. I believe Nolan North has a cameo role in the movie. But, I'm looking forward just due to the fact that I enjoyed the first one a lot. So let's hope that the sequel goes above and beyond and makes it feel a bit more like Trek. I mean, I could let them get away with that with the first movie. But I think that now that they've established the groundwork, it has to feel a lot more like Trek than, ever before. So first teaser poster, Star Trek Into Darkness, can't wait, comes out next year. Moving along from the world of Trekkies, Trekkers, whatever Trek you prefer, into the world of DC comic books. The Man of Steel has a new teaser poster featuring Superman cuffed by the U.S. Army, I guess? Why is he in cuffs, you ask? Honestly, if I had to say it, it's probably due to the fact that he's trying to make some sort of, I want to say peace treaty, but he's trying to appeal to the American people. He's trying to appeal to the government, essentially saying, hey, I'm not the bad guy, I'm willing to make peace, so here, cuff me and take me this place. Maybe it has to do with General Zod, who knows, it could be any of the above, but I doubt they're made out of kryptonite. Where the heck would they get kryptonite, for Christ's sake? But yes, Man of Steel I'm looking forward to greatly. It is one of my most highly anticipated films of next year. Zack Snyder directing, Christopher Nolan producing, Henry Cavill starring as Superman. I think it's got a pretty good, well-rounded team of actors, actresses, etc., etc. And I'm really riding on this film to be the, I guess, definitive Superman by far, because I know I'm going to get a lot of hate on this and probably death threats, but I was not a fan of the Christopher Reeve Superman movies at all. I mean, I understand why people like them because, oh, they're iconic for their genre and they're so old and nostalgia this, nostalgia that, but guys, go back and watch the movies and then read a couple of comics and you'll kind of see, I mean, there's a lot of BS in those movies, which of course you can attribute to the fact that it was an older time, it was a simpler time, they couldn't do a lot of the stuff with special effects. No, but there are basic story elements that are just jacked up the fuck, inaccurate to the source material, and just as a movie itself, there are a lot of plot holes and inconsistencies, I mean, I can put on Superman 1 and enjoy it, I guess, but overall, I just think they're meh. But hey, that's just me. So Man of Steel is looking a lot more grounded. It's looking a lot more like Superman than ever before. Thankfully, none of that contrived, let's make a sequel to the original Christopher Reeves sequel, and yeah, let's do that. None of that stuff. I mean, Bryan Singer, what the F happened, man? What the F happened? So Man of Steel, June 14th, 2013, I believe I will be seeing that bitch in IMAX. Now, moving on to this piece of information is a lot more, I guess you would say, rumored. It's not really concrete whatsoever. But it's in regards to the new Justice League movie. And if you guys have, been to any of my live streams when we've been talking about this movie, I don't have really any fond things to say about it. Simply due to the fact that I have no hope in DC outside of freaking Christopher Nolan. Like, for some reason, they can't seem to get a good movie off the grounds. I mean, look what they've produced so far. They were supposed to tie into this Justice League universe. Green Lantern. Shit. Okay? And now they got the Man of Steel movie coming out, which is looking good, but it's looking good as a standalone Superman movie, not a Superman movie to be mixed in with the Justice League. And there are even talks now that this Superman is not even going to be in not going to be the Superman that's going to be in the Justice League. I mean, DC, Warner Brothers, what the F is going on? So one red flag is that this movie is set to come out in 2015. 2015 already to cast, direct, film a Justice League movie? Really? Really? You want to know why there are so many other problems with that? Well, due to the fact that Avengers 2 comes out in 2015. You know what else comes out in 2015? Star Wars Episode 7. And probably something else that's going to be big and monumental. Maybe the next Bond film. I don't know. But I'm just saying, DC, when it comes to their decisions on superheroes and franchises, if they don't have a really, really, really concrete director who can helm a series on their own, they really fall flat. You know what I'm saying? Nolan's movies were really, really good, outside of Rises anyway, but you get the point of what I'm saying. DC is incompetent on their own. So it's not just that. It's also the fact that, they saw the hype of the Avengers, and before anyone says, oh, the Avengers, it sucked, it sucked, we're not here to talk about the quality of the Avengers, we're here to talk about the fact that, they're just doing this to cash in on the hype of the Avengers. Why did the Avengers work so well? Because it was a build-up of 4 years, over multiple movies. And once you finally got to it, it was like, oh, hooray, hooray. Even if you didn't like the movie, it's like, good job, Marvel, for actually sticking to your guns and doing this sort of thing. Justice League, it's just going to be there. Like, they're just going to come to the movie. I mean, like, really, no build-up whatsoever. And there were talks about them establishing the heroes afterwards. Like, they do this movie, then they do a Wonder Woman movie, then they do a Martian Manhunter movie, then they do a Cyborg movie. And it's just like, really? And the whole Superman thing with Man of Steel, that's not even going to be fit in, so now you're confusing the entire movie-going audience? I mean, comic book fans, we know, yeah, it's probably a different universe, but for the general moviegoer, like, what the heck, really? Okay, so you got the whole release date thing, you got the Avengers thing going on, and now you have this supposed villain of the movie, DARKSEID. Now you really, really, really can see that they don't know what the heck they are doing. You're going to go with DARKSEID for the first Justice League movie. For something that you want to start a franchise with, you're going to go with him? Really? So no starting small, building up, no thinking practical, none of that. You just want to make it big. And especially considering Thanos? Especially considering Marvel's doing Thanos next? Not only is this movie dead on the arrival for comic fans, but it's dead on the arrival for people who don't even read comic books, who saw the Avengers. They're going to see this and going to be like, hey, this thing is ripping off the Avengers, and here come the Avengers rip-off memes. I mean, for Christ's sake, DC. In several aspects, I prefer the Justice League over the Avengers. I'm just going to say that right out. But the way they're going about it with their movies is almost as sloppy as their comics. I mean, DARKSEID is not a bad choice for a villain. But not for the first Justice League movie. No, this is something you would end off a trilogy with. You start out small with someone like Brainiac, and then somewhere along the lines you bring in DARKSEID, and then shit gets freaking legit for a trilogy. You cap it off and make it fantastic. Oh, boom, 1.5 billion at the box office. But for one movie, and mind you, this is just a rumor, so don't take things out of proportion. Don't say, oh, Neil, you gotta calm down on this because it's a rumor. I'm taking it as such, given the situation. So, given this stance, I am not really looking forward to this Justice League movie at all. I'm not going to completely write it off. I'm going to wait to see what DC has, because I want them to prove me wrong. I want them to make a fantastic movie. I don't want them to make a subpar build-up movie. You know what I'm saying? Because these are some of the most iconic comic book characters out there, and they're just like, hey, yeah, hooray, we want to do the team-up thing. But we shall see. The movie comes out in 2015, when in actuality, when you think about it, it's not that far away. So we'll likely see some casting choices and some director nominations, screenwriters, etc., etc. Anyway, moving away from DC into the world of Marvel, really not much to talk about today outside of news regarding The Amazing Spider-Man. I might as well do a quick update on it since I haven't spoken on the movie since, I believe, the announcement of Harry Osborn and Mary Jane being confirmed for the sequel. I think that was the last time I did it, and that was like early October-ish. I can't really say, but people have wanted me to talk about what I think about Electro in addition to the recent casting announcement for Harry Osborn. You guys might remember a couple of weeks back they were potential actors up for the role of Harry Osborn in this series, and they narrowed it down to 3, and then they said that they were swapping out those choices with 3 new choices, and it was all up in the air what's happening. But the official actor who will portray Harry Osborn in the Amazing Spider-Man sequel is none other than Dane DeHaan. For those who saw Chronicle earlier this year, he was the main star in that movie. You guys know what I thought of it. I thought it was an overall good movie, but 75% through is when it really, really lost me. It's just like one of those movies that, you know, sounds good on paper, but not as a movie. I was talking to a close friend of mine, and Chronicle would have worked better, honestly, if it was like an internet series where they put out like 5-minute episodes every couple weeks or so. And yeah, it would have worked great for viral marketing and all that stuff. But as a movie itself, like, I mean, for God's sakes, at the end of the movie, it's like, honestly, the movie's been out for a while, so fuck spoilers. At the end of the movie, it's like 2 of the friends are fighting each other, and it's really pushing the suspension of belief because it's a found footage thing. So legit, this guy, he breaks it, and he freaking uses his freaking telekinesis PK Thunder and grabs all of the cameras in the vicinity, iPads, Androids, all of that stuff, and he starts just wiggling around. I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, why? Okay, we understand you have an obsession with cameras. We know that, but seriously, that is just pushing all boundaries, all levels of suspension of belief. I'm just saying, like, everyone in my theater just legit busted into tears laughing when they saw that, because it's just like, okay, we can believe this, we can believe this. Whoa, you're getting kind of ahead of yourselves here. But really, I mean, seriously, PK Thunder. But anyway, outside of Chronicle, one of the things I really did like, though, was Dane DeHaan. I thought he was a fantastic actor in the movie. He portrayed the character well. He's been cast as Harry Osborn, which is the perfect casting choice. I tell you this for a fact. The second I walked out of Chronicle, I looked over to my female friend who saw it as well, and I said, you know, if they ever do an Amazing Spider-Man sequel of Harry Osborn, that kid should play Osborn. And like, what, 7-8 months later, hey, look, the kid's in the role. I mean, wow. Honestly, I have not been this excited for an actor to play a character in a really, really long time. Personally, I think this kid has a lot of acting experience, especially for this type of character, Harry Osborn. Now, this is something that's been getting on my nerves for quite some time in regards to Harry Osborn, and it all stems back to the Raimi trilogy and all that stuff. So if you're tired of me talking about it, then click off the video if you don't want to hear about it. I'm warning you right now. With regards to Harry Osborn, everyone says, oh, James Franco should come back to play him. Or, oh, let's get James Franco's brother, Dave Franco, to play him. Why, people? Why? Okay, first off, it's a reboot, one thing. And second, what made James Franco such a good choice to play Harry Osborn at all? In the first movie, he kind of got the foundation right of Harry Osborn, and it definitely left it open for them to do him right like the comics. But afterwards, no. The second film started, boom. All of that character of Harry, gone. It was something completely else created for the movie. Harry Osborn, James Franco, was not a good choice to play the character at all. He didn't look right for the character. He didn't emote anything about the character. The struggle with him and his father was completely out of whack in the movie, and it was just... there was so much depth to Harry's character in the comics, which is what I think Dane DeHaan can bring, considering the fact that Harry gets a bit crazy at times. If you haven't read the comics, he starts doing drugs and he starts getting kind of twisted, and then he eventually becomes the Goblin. I mean, there's so much depth, so much rich history with Harry's character that was never explored on film that I think now we have the opportunity to, especially considering how they're going to do this. Sony did say that this is going to be guaranteed a trilogy of movies, just like the last set of Spider-Man films, but there are options for more than 3 movies, just like this series and just like the last series was going to be until they canceled it because things weren't going well. So I think that if they introduce him in the second movie, have him in 2, 3, and 4, but introduce the drug problem in number 3 where things kind of get heated with the Green Goblin and Norman Osborn, I think that would work perfectly, and then maybe you can have him become the Green Goblin in another Spider-Man installment. Not the new Goblin, I don't know what the fuck, the Olympic gold skier with the jet skate snowboard pumpkin bomb thingy-mabobs. Yeah, anyway, we're not going to go down that route. But this kind of leads into another issue I have with people in regards to characters in the series. It seems that no matter what, no matter how badly they were portrayed on film, no matter how inaccurately the actors and the screenwriters created them, it doesn't matter because we want to see more stuff. Guys, let me put it to you this way. The best example I can use for this is Dragon Ball Evolution. You saw how badly they destroyed that series, how they butchered those characters, the rich storytelling of Toriyama they just shat upon, and they essentially created their own stuff. Why is it that, for some strange reason, Dragon Ball Evolution gets all the hate, but when the same thing is done with another franchise like Spider-Man or X-Men, you people are just like, oh no, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. People, you have to call this out. You have to take off your nostalgia goggles or your whatever you got welded onto your head, and you have to call out these problems. Just because it's your favorite character on screen doesn't mean you shouldn't call out these issues. Every single one of the villains in the entire Raimi trilogy were all butchered beyond belief. In some cases, they were more like Dr. Kirk Connors, the Lizard's character, than anything else. Like, each one of the villains had an attribute taken from Dr. Kirk Connors' story. I mean, look at it. Look at it. Okay, so in regards to seeing the Green Goblin on screen again or seeing Venom again, people, what we saw before was not the characters. I don't even know why they call them that, but obviously for reasons you know why. So, why is it that it's a problem that we want to see them done right, accurately portrayed, because we've loved these characters growing up? Isn't that what everybody wants? I mean, for Christ's sake, I want to see another Dragon Ball movie as much as the next guy, but I want to see the characters done right this time around. So in the case of Spider-Man, I want to see Green Goblin done right. Why is that an issue? Oh, but we want something new. Okay, so they finally give you something new. They give you Electro. And yet, all the people out there who are complaining about wanting new villains, we get a new villain who people have been saying, oh man, he's so awesome, and Enter the Electro, yo, that was my shit, the PS1 days. Apparently Electro is not a good villain all of a sudden. Oh, he's horrible, he's shitty, he was never a good villain. Man, Rhino's better than him. Man, Vermin's better than him. I kid you not, I've seen people comment that. Oh man, we gotta get Vulture in this bitch. I seriously think that people are trying to find reasons to hate on this film series. For some, it's taken I can't even contemplate things now. It's like the extent that people will go to smear a movie by making up rumors that, oh, Sony executives hated the movie, so they did all of this stuff. And, oh, Peter Parker stole the web fluid, even though you can clearly see him purchasing it from the website and unpackaging it in his basement. I honestly don't know anymore. It's just, at this point, and I'm dumbfounded, like, really. But Jamie Foxx potentially portraying Electro, well, it's more or less confirmed at this point. I'm not saying I'm opposed to the idea, because I think Jamie Foxx is a pretty good actor. And he is, despite people saying he's horrible, this guy has done some pretty dang good stuff. But I just want to see how they're going to handle Electro. We know they're not going to go for the whole, comical Electro route. They're going to go for the more grounded and serious Electro, which can work, especially for this universe. And if you've read the stories of Electro and Ultimate Spider-Man, heck, if you've even freaking watched the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon, I mean, Electro is a pretty good character. It's just people got to get that Jim Carrey sort of expression out of their minds. But I think he'll do a good job for Electro, depending on what they write for him, mind you. And honestly, this is kind of a stretch, but I don't want Electro to be the only villain in the movie. Now, let me elaborate on this claim, because I know people are going to say, no, we only need one villain, or else we're going to get Spider-Man 3 all over again. Hold on, just calm down a second. I personally think that they should tease the Green Goblin. Now, hold your horses right there. When I mean tease, I don't mean have him in the movie for half of it. I mean legit 5 minutes in the movie, and that's it. 5 minutes. That is it. You can have him just doing something, and Spider-Man's trying to stop him. He gets away. That's all you need to know, and then enter Electro. Woo! That actually fit with the title. You want to know why? Because they are going to introduce Norman Osborn in the sequel. And he's just going to be there as Norman Osborn. And you can lead it so it becomes a big build-up by the third movie, or heck, even the end of the second movie, when you reveal who's actually the man behind the mask. It's Norman Osborn. Obviously, we know for the people out there in the audience, they're going to be like, ah! Well, for for the people who don't know anyway. But I think it could work out well if they have the Green Goblin in the movie for a little bit, and then leading up to the third movie where he is the main villain, and yeah, shit's gonna happen. We're all gonna be crying in the theater, and yeah, a lot of potential stories, a lot of possibilities that can be done with this new series, which I am extremely excited for, me being a Spider-Man fan. And it's kind of sad to see that people are actually fabricating lies to try to smear the series, and in some cases saying things that are in the comics that really aren't, and are ignoring several aspects of the comics. You know, it's just, it's kind of weird. It's like you're trying to reference the comics, yet you're not doing it in the right way. It's like you're saying this, but then you're saying that, and I don't know. Anyway, I guess this wraps up this video, guys. I guess I really didn't have much time to talk about the video game portion of it, but hey, another video for another day, you know what I'm saying? I'm NGS signing out, and like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.